So again, so we'll be going through some basic joint mobility movements, some classical asana or postures, and then we'll end up with some breathing exercises, just natural breath awareness and abdominal breathing. But we're going to start this morning. I'm not going to have you lie down. Many of you probably were just recently lying down unless you're, of course, at your office. But I'm going to ask that you just sit back for a moment. So just coming into base position like this. So just sitting back. Your arms are behind you. You're resting back. And just close your eyes for a moment. And just allow your body to become still. I'm going to go ahead and mute. So as the body stills, just notice how you feel this morning. Noticing your energy level. Do you have a lot of energy this morning? Are you a little bit tired? And then just begin to scan your body from your toes all the way up. And just feeling as many body parts as you can connect with. And just noticing how you physically feel. How does your body feel? And just make a mental note of both of those things, your energy, how your body feels. And it's important to check in before you practice yoga, before you pretty much start your day. Check in, how do I feel now? And then when you do whatever you're doing, you check in again, how do I feel now after I did that? And we do it in yoga to see if these things actually work, which of course, as a yoga teacher, I'm going to tell you that I think they do. But then you can apply them to your life. I think a lot of times we just, right now especially, things are very unfamiliar, very different, and we're just plugging along. And then all of a sudden we don't feel good. And we're like, what's going on? Because we don't check in enough. And I think the more we check in, we can make those adjustments on the mat and then off the mat, moving toward our best self. So just making a mental note of how you feel physically, and then shifting the awareness to the breath. Okay, this is this life-giving force that moves in and out of us nearly 22,000 times a day. And most of us, unless we run up a flight of stairs or we've done something aerobic, we don't pay attention to it. So just follow now each breath as it moves in and out. Know that you know you're breathing. When we practice mindful breathing, it's coming from a higher brain center. And it's the part of the brain that's connected to the rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system. So unlike your regular breathing just happens without thinking, when you say, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, you start to lower your blood pressure, your heart rate, your stress hormones. So when they say one deep breath can make a difference, it can, but just think what 5 minutes of deep breathing could do. And that's what we'll end today's class with. But just focus now on each breath, allowing each breath to bring you here this morning. So each inhalation, bringing you here in the room, in your body. And with each exhalation, releasing any tiredness, any tension. Perhaps inhaling positivity, energy, confidence for the day. Releasing any lethargy, any negativity. Take 3 more mindful breaths in this way. 3 deep breaths as if you're breathing in and out each and every cell. So feel the whole body expand and contract with the breath. And after that 3rd deep breath, release control of the breath and notice the difference between your natural breath and deep breathing. And bring your awareness from the breath back into the body, and then feeling the floor beneath you. Go ahead and open your eyes. So we're just going to start with a couple joint mobility movements that kind of wake you up in the morning. If you can do them lying down. They're actually quite easy to do lying down. So I'd like you to, if you're sitting in base position like I am, and it's comfortable to sit up nice and tall, I encourage you to do that. It's not easy. I can tell you that my hamstrings are really tight and I practice quite a bit of yoga. So I want to do this. So that's why if you need to put your arms back here, do that. If you want to work on your core and work on your flexibility, then see if you can sit up tall. But the minute you start to slouch, please bring your hands back here. So bring your awareness to your toes. We're just going to start really quickly with toe bending. And this kind of gets us in our body and also starts to wake the energy up in the feet. Okay, so bringing your awareness to your toes, and I promise we'll get beyond toe bending by the end of the session. So go ahead and bring your awareness to your toes, take a breath in and pull your toes back, and then exhale, squeeze. Inhale your toes back, exhale, squeeze. So really squeezing your toes down. 5 more like that. Inhale back, exhale, squeeze. So any of you, if you have any feet issues, and you think about this, you're in your bed, you get out of bed, you start putting your full weight of your body on your feet, it's not good, especially if you've ever had plantar fasciitis or anything like that, which I have. It's a horrible feeling. Doing something like this not only starts to get the energy going in your body, but it gets the energy going in your feet, preparing them for you to put your full weight onto them. So go ahead and do 2 more. You're trying to stretch the toes back, squeeze them down, and then release. Now bring your whole foot back and start to roll your ankles around. So ankle rotation. So now feeling the ankle roll down. So many of us too, when we get out of bed, we have a lot of cracking in our ankles. So these are things you can also do at your desk. So if you're sitting for long periods and the blood is pulling at your feet, move your feet, do something. Don't just sit there and stare at the screen. Move a little bit, get the energy going. Go ahead and do maybe 3 more. We're gonna do 7. 7's the magic number this morning, unless I tell you differently. And once you do 7 one way, go ahead and go the other way. Again, sitting up nice and tall, working on your posture, working on your core strength. Focusing on the movement, trying to stay connected to your body, to the breath, any energy you're generating. So just feel through your feet now, feeling through your toes, through your ankles. We're gonna move up to the knees. Okay, so this is the next thing. So you're getting out of bed, put your feet down, just warm them up. Now you got your knees to worry about. And most of us have not such great knees, depending on what we did in our life prior to becoming really adults. So go ahead and grab your thigh. This one we're just gonna do 5 rotations, okay? So your foot's gonna be relaxed and you're just gonna rotate the knee around. Okay, so trying to keep the foot still and thinking the movement is coming from the knee. So we're lubricating the knee joint. Actually, go ahead and do 7. That was about 5. I think we have time. And then go the other way. So holding onto the thigh, lifting up nice and tall. Now, I think a lot of our life is go, go, go. And that's one of the reasons I kind of like this style of yoga, at least doing some of these joint mobility movements first, because they get you in your body and it balances out our life. You know, I know the kind of person I am. Go ahead and go to the second side. As I'm the kind of person that likes to do things fast. I like to keep going, and I tend to have those kind of things in my life. But when I found yoga, especially this style of yoga, I felt really lucky because I was a marathon runner, I was a figure skater, and it was the opposite of those things. So just focusing on your knee and then going the other way. And bringing your knee into your chest and just feeling through your toes, your ankles, your knees. And move up to our hips, okay? So taking your right leg, you're gonna cradle, so you're like this, if you can see me, I'm just doing this, okay? Cradling my leg 7 times, getting into that hip. So this is where the left leg is extended out, toes are pointing up. So we accumulate a lot of tension in our hips, some of us, probably know that already, maybe through hip pain or other inflexibility. And plus sitting as much as we're sitting. So this is something you can do. I can show you how to do it at your seat. You can just sit at your seat and do this, but getting into that hip, go ahead and go the other way once you get to 7. And being gentle. So if something doesn't feel good, maybe make your circle a little bit smaller. Noticing when we go to the other side, any differences. And after you finish 7 in the second direction, bring your knee into your chest. This realigns your knee. It was kind of on a funky angle. Stretch your leg out and see if you can feel the difference from the right side to the left side. Maybe, maybe not, but see if you can. And then go to the second side. So again, sitting up nice and tall. There's a tendency to do this 7 times. The right leg is out now, toes are pointing up to the ceiling, and you're getting into that hip, but gently. And then the other direction for 7. And bring your knee in and out. So feeling through the hips. We're moving up, okay? We're gonna do a couple for the abdomen. One will be probably more enjoyable than the other, but we'll see how you feel. So this one's going to kind of warm things up in the middle. It's also really good for blockages of energy in the hips and along the spine. So you can take your feet at least as wide as your mat, okay? And you're going to clasp your hands like this. Imagine there's a big pot in front of you, and maybe it's your favorite stew or maybe something more exciting like your favorite ice cream with a topping in it. That's what I tell the kids anyways. So sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in. Exhale, come forward. Feel the stretch in your hamstrings. Then inhale, come over your right leg. And then come to the point where you keep your heels down, but you feel challenged in your core. And then pull yourself forward and feel the stretch in your hamstrings. So that was 1. We got 6 more. Exhale, forward. So nice big stretch forward. Core strengthener when you lean back. Toes are pointing upward if you can. They'll give you a little stretch in your hamstrings. Reaching out. Only coming back as far as you feel challenged and your heels can stay down. Exhale as you come forward. Inhale as you come back. And then after your 7th one, reverse. For 7. Really nice stretch. Thinking about using the muscles of your core to hold you up as you lean back and to pull you forward as you come out over your legs and your toes. Very nice. All right, and then sit back for a moment, feeling through your back, feeling through your abdomen. All right, so now this one's called double knee bend. So your knees will get some benefit, but I think you're going to feel it more in your core. So you're going to have your fingertips, so just watch first. And you've done this, I'm sure, in some capacity. It's this, okay? But notice how my forearms are off the ground. We're going to do a little bit more for the core in a few minutes, but since we're in a good position for this one, I thought we would do it. So go ahead and your legs are extended. Take your fingertips, point them to your buttocks, and then bring your knees into your chest. Your forearms stay off the ground. Inhale, stretch out. So you're kind of in a boat pose. Exhale, bring your knees in. Feel the crunch. Inhale, extend, forearms stay off the ground. Core is engaged. Exhale. 5 more. Exhale as you crunch in. Inhale as you extend. And then release. Now I'm sure you're probably a little bit warm in the middle. And we're going to move up to the shoulders. We just have a couple more. warm up. So this one I think everybody should do all of the time when you're, especially when you've been sitting for more than 15 minutes, okay? So we're doing this all day, we're doing this all day, we're doing this. So our posture is not good, as most of us know. And when our posture is not good, sometimes these muscles in the chest don't allow us to take deep breaths, okay? So this next one is gonna open up the chest. So please take your hands on your shoulders and take a breath in and then out. And as you take the breath out, pull your shoulders away from your ears. On your next inhalation, inhale, bring your elbows toward one another. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. And up, exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades, trying to bring your elbows slightly behind your body. Inhale, elbows come forward and up. Exhale, squeeze. So you're opening up your chest, breathing fully and deeply. 4 more like that. That should feel good, I hope. Two more. And then relax for a moment and just notice how that felt in your chest, and notice if your chest felt tight. Now we're going to go in the other direction. So place the hands back again. Take a breath in and out. And now inhale back. So bring those elbows behind you and up. Exhale, maybe you can touch. Inhale back, 6 more. Connecting the movement again. Your awareness to the movement and your breath to the movement. And then noticing any energy, any warmness, any tingling, any change in your mindset. All of those things are things to keep an eye on as you're practicing, instead of the thoughts that are always in our heads. Once you finish 7, bring your arms down, feeling through the chest, noticing how that feels. We just have 2 more in the warm-up department. So the next are for our hands. So I think overuse is going to be a huge issue in our society because of all of the use of our fingers these days. So this is really important. If you have any issues, then you should be doing these prior to the start of your day. Okay. So bring your arms out. I'm going to sit sideways for a moment. So bring your arms out in front of you. It's like you're kind of like a zombie. And when you just have your arms like a zombie, your arms are hanging off your neck, so you're creating more pain and your arms are going to get really heavy. So use your upper back muscles, and this is going to come up again when we do some other classical postures. So use your upper back muscles so you're engaging them. There's a little bend in the elbow, but you don't feel like you're creating more tension here. The upper back's helping you to hold up your arms. Now tuck your thumbs in, take a breath in, and squeeze. And exhale like you're dropping something. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale like you're dropping something. 5 more. Squeeze. You're creating tension and then release. 4 more. Relax your shoulders. And then inhale, relax again. If you need to put the arms down, please put them down for a moment. And then bring them back up. Inhale like you're stopping traffic. Exhale, palms to you. Inhale up. So these are part of a joint mobility series. They're anti-rheumatics. So after the age of 25, most of us are getting some kind of arthritis. As depressing as that is, it's the truth. So keeping the energy going around the joints, like with these simple movements, can help you feel physically better. It's going to help you do all of the activities of daily living. And more importantly, it's going to keep you active doing all of the sports, exercise, and everything like that with hopefully less pain. And once you get to 7, which I think is right now, bring your arms down for a moment and just notice. So this is what we do when we're all stressed all day. So if you're creating more of that, definitely want to bring your arms down right now. Give them a move. Just kind of move your shoulders a little bit and bring them up one more time. We've got 1 more for the wrists because I really think we need to worry about our wrists and our fingers. So into your sockets again, tuck your thumbs in, and 7 times in a circle. So for those of you that do a lot of weight bearing, so you're doing push-ups, planks, things like that, and you find that your wrists bother you, do these. And I'm going to show you a couple other things when we get to some weight bearing in a little bit, ways to use your upper back so you're not putting all your weight on your wrists. And that can be used in the yoga poses as well as planks and push-ups. So go the other way for 7. And then relax the arms down, feeling through your fingers. So we just have 2 more for the neck, and then we've done a full warm-up. So we create a ton of tension here. Most of us have some kind of neck pain, and it has to do with the way we sit. And every single major system of the body, the nerves pass through the neck. So there's like even more tension, this, and all this tension. So this first one, you're going to just try to look over your shoulder. Okay, so you're sitting up nice and tall. Take a breath in. Look over one way. Your chin stays level. Inhale to the center. Exhale the other way. Notice any mobility differences. So you're inhaling to the center, exhaling as you move your head. Go ahead and bring your head to the center. Actually, I've got another one I think we should do. So now take your ear to your shoulder. Feel that nice stretch along the side of the neck, and then inhale up and exhale the other way. Inhale up. So feeling that nice stretch. Notice if you're bringing your shoulder to your ear, but your ear should come down to your shoulder, and it should just be gentle. When it comes to the neck, try not to push it to a point where you feel pinching or any discomfort. And then bring your head to the center. Pretend that you have like a marker on your nose and start making a very small circle. You can close your eyes for these. Many people often just automatically do at this point because it's kind of relaxing. And then start to increase the circumference of your circle. Again, this is one that these 3 that I just showed you should be done periodically throughout the day. And then reverse direction. So I think many of us, now that our work life and home life are now blurred, we're taking the time for ourselves is becoming less maybe in some cases. And I think that there's ways that you can integrate some of these simple movements into your day that if you do nothing else for yourself because your day has been packed with your family and your life, then you'll at least know you've done something to improve your health. Then go ahead and finish that rotation, bring your head to the center. And then just stretching your legs out for a moment, back into that base position. And just feeling from the toes all the way up to the neck. Noticing how that feels, just those simple movements. Now, these are, simple as they are, the most difficult part of it is to stay connected to it because you're like, boy, this is so simple. But I'm telling you that these simple joint mobility movements can have really profound effects on your energy and on the health of your joints so you can do all the other things that you want to do. All right, we're going to do 2 from this digestive series, and then we're going to do some more classical postures that I think you'll be very familiar with. This first one is called leg lock, and I'm just going to show you both of them because once you're lying down, you might not be able to see, and I don't want you to strain your neck. So this one's called leg lock. You clasp your hand here. You take a breath in, you bring your knee to your chest, and you pull your shoulders off the mat. Okay, you lift up, but you're using your core. You're bringing your nose towards your knee, but you're not doing any of this, okay? So we'll do it on the right, we'll do it on the left. And this one is really good. This is a digestive series. It's strengthening the core, but it also is massaging the organs, and it's helping you have better digestion, okay? The other one from the digestive series is sleeping abdominal pose. And this one gives you a little twist. Again, aiding in digestion, but it's very good for people who sit long periods of time. Okay, and I'll talk you through both. So please come onto your backs. And If you have back pain, we're going to start with the right leg. Then you're going to want to bend your left knee and you're going to clasp your hands below your kneecap or on your thigh, depending on your flexibility. Okay. So if you have a bad back, please bend your left knee. Otherwise, you're going to keep your left leg extended and in contact with the ground. Shoulders are relaxed. Your awareness is on your core. So take a breath in. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest and peel your shoulders off the mat. Chin stays off your chest and you're bringing your nose up towards your knee. Pause. Feel the compression in the right side of the abdomen. And on an inhalation, release, but hang on to that leg. So you're hanging on the thigh or underneath. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest. Peel your shoulders off the mat. Inhale, release. 5 more like that. So exhale, knee comes in, shoulders peel off. 3 more. And then stretch your leg up. Feel that nice stretch in the hamstring there and then lowering it. Feel from the right side to the left. That was our ascending colon. So let's work on the second side as we also work on strengthening the abs and loosen up the hip and leg as well. So clasping the hands underneath your left kneecap or behind on your thigh. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring the knee to the chest. Peel your shoulders off the mat. Inhale, release. Exhale, knee comes in, shoulders come off the mat. Pause. Inhale, release. 5 more like that. So your right leg is extended, perhaps flexed, your foot is flexed, but you're focusing now on bringing that left knee in, feeling the compression of the abdomen. Relax your shoulders if you feel they're coming up by your ears. Extending your leg, feeling from the right side to the left. And then just 1 twist on each side. So if you can, clasp your hands, bring your head in your hands, bend your knees. And you're going to go ahead and bring your knees to the side, looking over at your right elbow. I hope you can hear me still. Somebody tell me if you can hear me, because I got a weird thing on my... Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I just got a weird thing on my computer that said somebody was signing into my device. So you're just twisting to, you're letting your knees drop to the left, looking towards your right elbow. And then bring those knees back up again. Bring them back to the middle and then switch directions. So you're dropping in the opposite direction. So feeling a nice stretch, twist in the spine and compression in the abdomen. And just breathing into any tightness you might feel. And then bring those knees back up and stretch your legs out. Turn this down so you can see me. And then you're going to come onto your abdomen. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit more classical postures. But before we do that, we're just going to come into what's called this is considered a resting posture. So come onto your back, onto your bellies. So this is called crocodile pose. And you're going to bring your big toes together. Bring your forearms together and put your head in your hands. So I'm just looking at you, but you're going to look straight ahead. Okay. So here you're going to maybe bring your elbows in or bring your elbows out. And just feeling that gentle extension in your back just for a moment. And just feeling through your body from your toes all the way up from what we did up to this point. this is considered a resting posture, and it helps to gently realign the spine. But for many of us, we have pretty tight backs. This may not feel very good. We're just going to hold it for another 30 seconds. But if you're in any pain, I encourage you to come down onto your fists to relieve a little bit, or the back of your hands. Just noticing how your back feels, taking a few more breaths here. And then placing your hands underneath your shoulders. Just do a quick reset. So just pushing your hips back. And then coming back onto your abdomen. Okay. So for this next pose, this is called Cobra. Okay, so this is a more, it's a little bit more, well, it's a lot more actually for your back than what we just did. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, and I'm going to give you an alternative. Okay, so this is Cobra pose. So in Cobra pose, my elbows are bent, unless you have a super flexible back. Your pubic bone is down, your shoulders are away from your ears, and your chest is open. Okay, your big toes are together if you can get them to be there. Now, another option is bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders, and we're going to go up and down. So you can also kind of windshield wiper your elbows out of the way. So if that crocodile pose was a lot for your back, then I would highly suggest this modification. Otherwise, please bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tops of your feet are down on the mat. Your awareness is on your low back. So we're going to work on the flexibility and strength in our low back. Inhale, come up as much as you can without using your hands. Then grab the ground. Elbows are tight to your sides. Your chest is open and you're looking up. And on an exhalation, you lower down. This is working on your biceps and triceps as well. Inhale. Opening up the chest, pubic bone is down. If it gets easy, you might be doing it wrong. Okay, you should feel heat building up in your arms. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Thinking of what a cobra looks like right about when it's going to strike. So thinking about your chest like the hood of a cobra. 4 more. Inhale. Using your low back, then assisting with your hands. If there's any pain in the neck, just look straight ahead. No reason to look up. 3 more. And on this last one, hold for 3 breaths. So you're holding this position, looking forward or up, lowering down if you're feeling any real discomfort. And then after that 3rd breath, exhaling. And again, pressing back into child's pose. When you're in child's pose, you can take your knees wide, extending your arms out, resting your head on the mat. And then from here, we're going to come into cat-cow pose. So a couple of the poses we're working on this morning are part of a series of sun salutation. Now there's many of you, I'm sure, have practiced yoga. There's different sun salutations. What we're working on today, we're going to build on in our next session to put together a modified sun salutation. So this cat-cow happens to be in this modified version. Most of us know cat-cow. And we're going to string it together. We're going to do 2 postures separately. We're going to do cat-cow, then we're going to do downward facing dog, and then put them together. So starting with cat-cow. Now at the beginning of the session, when I was talking about the wrists, toward the beginning of the session, I said to use your upper back muscles. So this is where now, even though there's not a lot of weight bearing, there's enough weight bearing that if your wrists bother you, you're going to feel it right now. So what I'm going to ask you to do is really spread your fingertips, take the mound of your index finger, put it down, grab the ground, and pull those shoulder blades together. So there's a little bend. So when I'm doing this, there's a little bend in my elbows. Okay, I'm not doing this and I'm not putting my full weight on my wrists. So organize yourself so your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. There's about a fist distance between your knees, and your knees are underneath your hips. And you're using your upper back muscles to take some of that pressure off your wrists. From here, you're going to inhale, arch your back. That's the cow. Exhale, round your back, pull your belly button up towards your spine. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round your back. And do 5 more like that. Shoulders come away from your ears as your tailbone and head go up. Exhale, belly button pulls all the way towards your spine. 4 more like that. Feeling that nice extension and flexion of the spine, coming back to the neutral spine and just pressing back for a moment. So getting out of bed in the morning and doing a few cat-cows, especially if you have a stiff back in the morning, would be a great way to start your day. Now moving into downward dog. So most of us know downward dog, and this is it. Okay, so this is downward facing dog. Now, again, if you have wrist issues, we're going to do this dynamically. My earpiece keeps coming off. We're going to do this dynamically to start, but you can also always do this up against the wall. I just want to show you really quickly. So those of you that want to work on your hamstring flexibility, if I do this against the wall, I step out, I have my hands above my head, I can bend my knees, we'll also do it statically as well. You can take your feet a little wider. But for those of you that have really tight hamstrings, this is great to do on the wall, especially if you have wrist issues and you don't want to put a lot of weight on your wrists. So I encourage you to get up onto the wall if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to come back into table and we're going to do this dynamically, and then we're going to hold for strength. Okay, so dynamically to get the movement and to get the flexibility, and then we're going to hold it. So again, your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Bring your shoulders into your sockets, roll your toes under. So inhale, shoot your hips up to the ceiling. Exhale, press them back, let your head hang between your arms. Now just for a moment, we're just gonna hang out here for just a minute, and then we're gonna keep moving with the breath. Now just go ahead and push your hips back. Your hands stay still. So know that in this pose, you can move your feet wide if you need to when we're holding it. You can walk your heels up and down, but your hands shouldn't move. So on your next inhalation, come back onto your toes. Exhale, come back. So check to see that your hands are underneath your shoulders. So that's important, that that stays just like that. Now we're gonna move with the breath. So inhale, the hips up. Exhale, press the hips back, let your head hang. Inhale onto your toes. Exhale, straight back down. Inhale, hips go up. Exhale, hips go back, and you're flattening out your back, letting your head hang through your arms. Inhale onto your toes. Exhale, straight back down. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up onto the toes. Exhale down. Let's do 3 more like that, and then we're going to hold. Inhale. Exhale, hips go back. Feeling the stretch on the back of the body. Inhale onto the toes. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, press back. Inhale onto the toes. Exhale down. Inhale up and exhale, hold. So we're going to hold for about a minute. Look at the clock. And you're holding. And as you're holding this pose, you can take your feet nice and wide if you like. You can walk your heels up and down. And just holding and breathing. Holding and breathing. I can't see any of you. The one person that was on the screen has left. So I'm guessing, I'm hoping that you are pressing your hips back. You are pressing through your hips, letting your back flatten out, feeling some heat build in your arms. And you've got another 10 seconds. can go ahead. From here, you're going to come onto the toes, back down, and bring your arms behind you. Give your arms a break, resting your head on your mat. Noticing how your arms feel, noticing through the back of your body. And then coming back into table, we're gonna link those two together. Okay, so coming up back into table position, hands underneath your shoulders, grabbing the ground, checking to see that your knees are underneath your hips. You can roll your toes under so you're ready for that downward facing dog. So begin by inhaling, arching your back, exhaling, rounding your back, lift your hips, continue to exhale, flatten your back, let your head hang. Inhale onto the toes, exhale down, 6 more. Inhale, exhale, tuck your tailbone, look back at your knees, rounding your back. Now flatten your back, push those hips back. You're grabbing the ground, you have some energy in your arms. You're not just hanging out on your wrists. Exhale, round your back, continue to exhale, flatten your back. Inhale onto the toes, exhale down. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Continue to exhale, flatten the back. Let your head hang between your arms. 2 more like this. Inhale. Feel that nice extension through the spine, waking up the energy. Exhale, feeling the strength build as you push back through your hips. Last 1. Inhale. Exhale. Let your head hang. Good. Inhale up, exhale down. Release your arms back 1 more time. And then coming up, we're going to move into what's called equestrian pose. It's also a runner's lunge. It's really good for the hips. So if you're on a hard surface, I encourage you to do this with your mat. Let me move my camera so you can see me. All right, so this is what this pose looks like. You're just basically stepping in and you're coming, so your knee is directly over your ankle. Your fingertips are going down toward the ground, and you should feel a big, big stretch in your hip flexor, okay? And then you're gonna press back and bring your leg back under. Okay, so coming up onto your knees, let me adjust this a little bit so you can see me. All right, so find a focal point because it might be a balance issue. Take a nice big step forward with your right foot. Exhale, come into your knee. So make sure your knee is stacked over your ankle. Take a push through your heel, inhale. Exhale, bring your leg around. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, come into your knee. Feel the hip flexor. Inhale, press through your heel. Exhale, bring your leg around. Inhale, right leg. Exhale. Press through that heel. Inhale. Exhale. Second side. Inhale. Exhale. We're just going to do 5 of these, so 3 more on each side. Find that focal point, because as you're, or if you need to grab onto a wall, you of course can do that. But this is also working on your core balance by being able to bring that leg around without falling over. It's a nice big stretch. We have a lot of tension again in our hips, as I mentioned earlier. 2 more. Pressing through the heel. Last one. Good, and then just press your hips back for a moment. We're going to come up into a standing position. So coming up through downward facing dog. So pressing your hips up and back, slowly walking your hands towards your feet or your feet towards your hands, letting your whole body hang down, pressing through the feet and slowly rolling up, letting your head be the last thing that you lift up, coming up to a standing position. So I briefly mentioned the postures of sun salutation. So I did my graduate thesis on a twice day practice. And it's one of those things where I think a lot of us know that yoga is good for us. So when I went into my thesis, I said, what kind of moves can you do to get the most bang for your buck? So I chose this classical sun salutation, and I had to have my subjects had to be people who had only one yoga class, so I had to actually teach them all the postures. So I'm just going to quickly show you the modified version, which is what we'll be working toward. And obviously we did a lot of the pieces parts today. And then if you come back next session, we'll be putting it all together. But it looks like this. So again, it's a classical sun salutation. So we've done, so you can see me, we've done a lot of the pieces bits already. The cat-cow, now we've done the equestrian pose, and we're gonna work on the first pose and the last pose right now, okay? So if you could come to the front of your mat. Okay, so coming to the front of your mat. So you can't see my feet, but your feet are right underneath you, about a fist distance apart, okay? And you're pressing straight down into them. Okay, you really want to activate the muscles of your legs. Okay, so really feeling nice and tall. You know, so much of our posture, so much of our mood can be seen in our posture and how we feel about ourselves. And a lot of times we're here and just right now standing up nice and tall. So pressing down through all four corners of your feet, lifting your chest. Okay, so we're going to work on the first three and last three of this. There's 12 poses in sun salutation. We've already done a couple in the middle. We've done like maybe 3 poses in the middle. So these are another 3 poses. So you're going to start with your hands at your heart in the prayer position. Okay. So taking a breath here with your hands in the prayer position. Inhale, sweep your arms up above you. So it's reaching straight up. Keep reaching. Take another breath in. Hold your breath and lean back. So your ears stay between your elbows and you're feeling the stretch in your back. Come up, place your hands on your hips. Exhale, press your hips back. Fold forward with the flat back. And then inhale, sweep the arms up again. Lean back, come up, and exhale into prayer. Okay, so those are the first 3 and last 3 of this series. So inhale up. Hold the breath, lean back. Come up, hands on your hips. Exhale, come forward. Feel the stretch in the back of the body. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reach through your fingertips, lean back, come up, and exhale into prayer. A couple more like that. Inhale up. Hold the breath, lean back. Come up, hands on your hips. Exhale forward, feel the stretch in the back of the body. Your back is flat. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Stretch through your fingertips, lean back. Feel the stretch in the front and back of the body. Come up and exhale into prayer. One more. Inhale up. Hold the breath, lean back. Come up, exhale forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Lean back. Come up and exhale into prayer. And then bring your arms down to your side. So feel through the front and the back of your body. And before we come onto the mat to end with just a little bit of breath work, a well-rounded yoga practice includes forward and backward bends, which we've done plenty of those. We've done a twist. We have not done a balance pose. Well, a little bit of balance, but not really a traditional balance pose. So we're going to do dancer pose. Most of you are probably very familiar with tree pose, but we're going to do dancer pose. And dancer pose looks like this. Okay. So you're going to start, we'll start from our right leg. So this is our sun side. It's associated with the energy of the body that's masculine, it's dynamic, and most of us, especially in the mornings, we need to activate that side. So we're going to start on our right side. Take your hand, your right hand, into the A-OK sign and stretch it out in front of you. Find a focal point. Activate your core. So pull your belly button in, find a focal point, shift your weight to your right, grab your left foot. Okay, if you can't. If you have a pant leg on and you can't grab it, grab your pant leg. Now, for those, if you don't have a lot of flexibility or you feel very challenged already, this is it. This is where you are. Maybe you can pull your left knee slightly behind your standing leg. Okay, now if that's easy, continue to kick your left foot into your left hand, increasing the space between your left heel and your left butt cheek, and come into the full pose. You're reaching that right arm forward. So you're kind of creating a stretch from your left foot to your right hand, and then gracefully come out. Feel through the right leg, through the left, and try that on the second side. So start with the arms first and keep that energy going. It's going to really help you with your balance. So left A-OK sign. Okay. Find your focal point. Grab your right foot. Again, this might be it. Keep stretching that left arm out. Keep pushing into your foot. And then as you feel comfortable, taking the knee slightly behind your left leg, your right knee, and then increasing the space between your heel and your right butt cheek. And then gently coming out. And trying it one more time on both sides. Just holding the final pose for maybe just 2 breaths. So right arm out, weight to the right, find your focal point, activate your core. Then pick your foot up. Keep stretching the upgoing arm, and then press the foot into your hand, creating space between your heel and butt cheek. Keeping your eyes focused, keep stretching and reaching through the fingertips and the foot in opposite directions. And gracefully come out. And then move to the second side. So balance poses are known to obviously help our physical balance, but they also help our energetic balance. So when we feel that we just can't get it together, when we feel that we're scattered, there's been some evidence that if you practice some of these balance poses, right and left and right, a few times, you can get your focus back, concentration increases, and you feel more mentally balanced overall. And then bringing your leg down. So we're going to just end for the last 3 minutes with a short breathing practice. So again, in this style of yoga, if I had another half an hour, we would be doing a full breathing practice. We'd also be doing a meditation, because that's what yoga is, not just about the asana, although that's important, but it's not the only part. And the other parts of true yoga practice help with your breath. It helps with your concentration. It helps your mind, and we all need help with our mind at the moment. So if you could come into Shavasana, I'm going to talk you through a very simple breath practice. I'm going to ask you to place your right hand on your navel, your left hand on your chest, and we're going to focus on taking our breath from our nose to our navel. And I'll just talk you through it. You don't need to see me. So just come onto your backs, and if you're not familiar with Shavasana, it's your heels are about hip width apart. Your arms are comfortably away from the sides of your body, palms facing the ceiling. And if your back does not feel good like this, you can always have a blanket. This is the way I always do any kind of lying down practices personally. I put a blanket underneath my knees, and that relaxes my hips. Now, if you don't have a blanket right now, we're not going to be here but 2 minutes. You can, of course, just bend your knees, okay? But just coming into Shavasana, lightly closing the eyes. I'm going to sit up so I can talk to you, but you're lying down. So your eyes are lightly closed, and just take a moment to notice how you feel after those joint mobility and some of those classical yoga postures. Noting any changes energetically, any changes physically or mentally. I think we've been so much in our heads, especially with all these Zoom meetings and everything, that, you know, our physical activity level has gone down. I would say most people's have. And when we engage in physical activity, it doesn't have to be yoga. And we're paying attention to that. We are not only, you know, helping our bodies be healthier, but we're giving our minds a break. When we focus on our breath, when we focus on the movement, and we don't allow all the thoughts, and we say, nope, 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 I'm doing this right now. That is going to give you so much more space for creativity, and it's going to increase your mental and physical energy, because our physical energy is very much based on how we feel mentally. It all relates to one another. So just noticing overall any changes, and then hopefully you had some things that you learned that you can maybe incorporate in your week as you're sitting at your desk. Maybe in the morning when you wake up and your alarm goes off the first time and you go back to sleep, maybe you'll remember to do some toe bending instead. But focus now, shift the focus to your breath, your natural breath. We started here at the beginning of this class. So noticing how you're breathing now. And remembering that paying attention to the body and paying attention to the breath brings you into the present moment. It's very powerful, because when we get in our heads, we're usually in the past or we're in the future. Most of us are in the future feeling anxious. And if we could just say, nope, I'm right here, right now. What's wrong with right now? Nothing. You're in your houses, I think, most of you. And there's no impeding, there's nothing dangerous happening right now. So it's like, just be with the breath. The breath will bring you here to the present moment. And just noticing how you're breathing and make a connection to it. And then more specifically, noticing where you're breathing. So noticing if you're breathing in the chest or in the abdomen, noticing what's moving. So we really want to learn to utilize the lowest part of our lungs. And most of us, because of stress and anxiety, we breathe in the thoracic cavity. We only breathe in the middle lobes of the lungs, this is associated with stress and athletics. And this certainly isn't an athletic endeavor at the moment. So you should really be able to take those deep breaths. And just to check to see if you can, we're going to just practice abdominal breathing. So just for about a minute. So please place your right hand on your navel and your left hand on your sternum. And with awareness, breathe in through your nose if you can, and direct the breath into your right hand. So feel your navel rise on the in-breath and fall on the out-breath. The left hand isn't going to move, so you're going to really think, I'm only filling up the bottom part of my lungs. And then exhale. So just watching the gentle rise and fall of the right hand with each breath. So what we're doing with deep breathing, not only are we increasing our oxygen supply, so the left hand remains still, there's no movement in the rib cage. We're activating the movement of the diaphragm. So when the diaphragm's at rest, it's dome-shaped upward. But when we breathe into the lowest lobes of the lungs, it's pressing down all of the abdominal organs, which of course gives us the impression we're breathing into our belly. But what it's doing, it's massaging all those organs. So it's improving our digestion. And with all the sitting we're doing and not moving enough, breathing deeply is going to help keep all digestion moving more regularly and at the same time, increasing our amount of oxygen to improve our concentration. So just take a few more breaths in this way, inhaling through the nose, directing the breath into the right hand, feeling the navel rise, and then exhale, feeling the navel fall. Take 3 more breaths in this way, breathing fully and deeply. And then release your arms back into Shavasana. And when we practice abdominal breathing, when we practice this deep breathing, it's a breath expansion practice. So it will bleed over into how you breathe immediately after, with the idea that if you practice this kind of breathing enough, this becomes the way you breathe. You don't take those shallow breaths. You say, no, this is what you automatically do. So just notice any change in your natural breath due to that short practice. Any change in the mind, noting any quieting of the mind from that practice, the breathing practice, and all that came before it. And then bring the awareness from your breath and how you feel back into your body. And from your body into the, feeling your body and the floor beneath you. And then slowly begin to move. So moving your hands, moving your feet, just gently moving your head from side to side to release the neck. You might want to bring one or both knees into the chest to stretch out your low back, and then gently come over to one side and press up to a seated position. And thank you so much for being here this morning. I appreciate your time. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that this was a great start to your day. You got your energy going, and I hope to see you in our next session, I think October 27th.